Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Whole Foods Market has Thanksgiving gatherings covered. First things first, reserve your no antibiotics ever fresh whole turkey today, starting at $2.99 a pound. Or go with their organic spiral cut bone-in ham, full of seared-in flavor. For sides, choose Whole Foods Market grab-and-go platters. Go even further and get your whole meal catered. Just order online by November 26th. Get Thanksgiving ready at Whole Foods Market. Terms apply.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/campaign to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Calisthenic.
The Eagles notch their 6th straight victory in a row. 7th. I don't even know. We might be off already. Get to 9-2. It is 7 in a row. What a terrible intro. If this wasn't live, we'd redo it. But this is a live show, so you get what you get. Notched their 7th straight victory. And as David loves to point out, they don't have to step foot on a plane the rest of the regular season. So what a win on the road, sort of. Road game. Home crowd in LA, joined by the crew here. I've got Ryan chiming in. Ryan, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. This is kind of the way that the Eagles season and games seems to be going since the bye is, we kind of struggle in the first half to kind of figure out, how we're doing and what we're doing and, how we want to, go about this game. And we make the adjustments at halftime. And then we come out the second half and we absolutely blow the doors off. And that's what we've done the last couple of games. And we certainly did that and emphatically with Saquon Barkley for sure.
I don't know if you guys recognize this, but the Eagles' only possession in which they did not score tonight was their second possession punt. And then that weird, there's only 30 seconds left, and we end up turning it over on downs in the first half. Second half possessions, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, and ice the game. Incredible offensive performance. By the way, missing Devontae Smith. But anyways, all that, I'll introduce David, I guess. David's here as well. Give him a follow on Twitter, at PHL Eagle News. Hopefully Dibes never lets me host a post-game show again because this is a disaster already. But David, how you doing?
We just witnessed history. Saquon Barkley just had 302 yards from scrimmage. It is absolutely insane. 302 yards. These are the kind of games that, as a fan of the Eagles, I had seen other teams do on Monday Night Football back in the day and Sunday Night Football. And these are the kind of statement games where everybody in the league just watched this. Everybody just witnessed this. Every player, every fan. And these are the kind of games that just put fear in the hearts of all the other teams in the league. A lot of people keep saying the Lions are the Eagles' competition, but I don't know, man. The Eagles look like to be the class of the NFC right now.
But by the way, Saquon, 302 yards, 2 touchdowns tonight. The New York Giants had 245 total yards and 1 touchdown today. Nice. So, watching Saquon Barkley, good player, in my opinion. I'm glad Joe Shane didn't think so. But man, what a performance. And I put out on Twitter that he is officially now on pace to break the NFL rushing record. Also set to surpass Adrian Peterson, who was the last non-quarterback to win an MVP award by 240 yards and I forget what it was now, 5 touchdowns, something like that. So on an insane pace so far. And, we're going to dive into all of it. Thank you guys for joining us for the post-game show. Make sure you drop comments here. We'll throw them up on the screen. Also, make sure you head over to Twitter and drop your 3-word reactions on the Eagles Pinpool account. We'll get to those later in the game. But David and I, Ryan, talked a little bit at the halftime show of early in this game. To me, it felt a lot like the Bengals game, that the Bengals move the ball on the Eagles. You got the Rams moving the ball on the Eagles. They get the fumble on the first drive, but they don't even force a third down on the first 2 drives. And I don't know if I'm just gaining irrational confidence in this defense, but they keep paying it off. But it's like I'm just waiting. Just don't go down 14-0 and then accidentally throw a pick 6 to make it 21-0. And Vic Fangio is going to spin the dials. He's going to make the appropriate adjustments. And Puka Nacua still had a better game than you would like to see. But this defense, man, as good as the offense was, I feel like I want to start with the defense almost, because the defense played at such a high level. And, you lose Darius Slay early in the game. You lose Josh Sweat for a little bit. And then, we'll have to find out what's going on with Brandon Graham, because apparently Brandon Graham went to the locker room and was giving guys hugs on the way out. And so generally that doesn't bode well. So hopefully Brandon Graham's okay. But Ryan, talk to me about your thoughts on the defense. Were you worried? Do you just have unflappable confidence at this point? Where are you at?
Yeah, no, I think I'm in that spot where you said, where I have the confidence that Vic Fangio is going to make these adjustments. And, again, it's like you said also, that you just really kind of gotta make sure that you're keeping the game close. And yeah, they obviously, that second drive, they let him come down. They did anything they wanted. And they kind of adjusted. And honestly, if it wasn't for, let's be honest, a pretty BS pass interference call that gave them the opportunity for the second touchdown. Outside of that, I thought they absolutely played shutdown. And they made the adjustments as the game went on, and that was the key to the game. You really didn't see or hear Q. It's probably because they, again, I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but it looked like they didn't throw the ball too much to him. And mostly it didn't seem to be on Puka. He didn't really seem to be on Cup much, but I think the Rams purposely avoided him that way, because they knew he was lining up on that side, and they didn't really put anybody on that side. So, but yeah, the adjustments were crucial, were key, and he seems to be hitting the right buttons and figuring it out. And they absolutely shut things down after that third drive.
Yeah. Brett Eclipse says that sadly Q has given up a touchdown from that garbage time TD. Was that I'll be honest, I'm transitioning to post-game show mode and getting the 3 words tweeted out at that point. So I kind of missed what happened on that one, but unfortunate if so. But he says the defense was great. Those 14 points were from the refs. I don't care. Yeah, the officiating, man, that was awful tonight. But it unbelievably bad. My favorite was when they show the highlight reel of the Rams double teaming Jalen Carter, and literally 50% of the plays are blatant holds that didn't get called. But we don't have to go down that rabbit hole. David, talk to me about the defense. What stuck out to you watching the defense?
Two players stuck out to me. Nakobe Dean stepped up just big time. I mean, it was a kind of quiet night for Zach Bond, though he did have that great play there where he acted like he was going to blitz and dropped into coverage there right at the goal line. But Nakobe Dean was everywhere, man. He had 2 TFLs, a QB hit, a sack, a fumble recovery. I mean, he was just everywhere. But the other guy who I think is an unsung hero in this defense, and every time I post or talk about him, nobody ever really gets behind him that much, and it's Milton Williams. mean, he was active all night. Every play you see, he is involved in. He had 2 sacks, 2 TFLs, 3 QB hits. I mean, he is an integral part of that line. They didn't draft a defensive tackle this past year, so they haven't gotten a deal done with him yet. But I don't know how that ends up. But I would like to see him still part of the team, man, because I mean, he is an integral part. And also, shout out to Darius Big Play Slay. I mean, as soon as he left, you saw the drop off. I mean, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but you see the drop off immediately. They go right after him.
I will.
He's playing really good, and his mentoring of Quignon and DeJean has been very, very fruitful, man. And you're seeing all that right now.
I feel like I've been saying for a couple weeks that the Eagles should consider sitting Darius Slay down for a couple weeks, because it's every game at this point he's leaving with injury, and that it's not an anti-Slay thing. Slay's a really good player. I want Slay to be playing in January, and the way it is right now, it's like, I mean, it's a young man's position, and Slay at 33 years old is kind of defying father time right now, but he's getting nicked up week after week, and he ends up leaving this game with a concussion, but he was banged up earlier in the game and came out, and I think it's the third game in a row he's left with an injury. And I know the Ravens game is huge next week, but man, I would really like to see him able to take a couple of weeks and get healthy. But every game's important, so that's really hard to balance. But I would almost like to see him play Isaiah Rodgers and or Keely Ringo a little bit, get him some experience. So if you need him in the postseason, they're ready, but also you're minimizing the chances you will need him. I don't know how you load manage a 33-year-old cornerback. There's not a lot of guys that are still playing at that point in time, but it's clearly a thing that he's been battling through, and it's been different injuries. And I know he ultimately leaves with the concussion, and that's not, related to being dinged up, but it's something that I'm definitely concerned about as we go on with Slay. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? How do you load manage that guy, especially with a huge game against Baltimore, or do you just not and you keep putting him out there?
Yeah, I think it's tough because you saw when he was out, the guys stepped up for sure, but you also noticed a little drop, and I think Isaiah Rodgers just had himself a terrible night. Honestly, I didn't think he played really well, and the Rams were clearly picking on him. I think the Eagles are deep enough at the cornerback position to, if you see something like that, I would have loved to have seen kind of just like that. All right, clearly Rodgers isn't working tonight. Let's throw in Ringo, see what we got. Like, can it get any worse kind of thing. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we have the Ravens game coming up, Carolina, whatever, but you have Pittsburgh right there. Maybe you wait until you get through the Pittsburgh game and then you sit him for the last 3. That's the only thing I can think of, because again, you're playing the divisional opponents. You should have things kind of wrapped up. Hopefully by then, maybe that's your only shot.
Yeah. Let's go to a couple of comments here. We got Anthony chiming in, says, what a win. This team is for real. And again, they did this without Darius Slay, without Devontae Smith, without Josh Sweat for portions of the game. So incredible performance. John says the Eagles own SoFi Stadium. To be fair, I think every visiting team owns SoFi Stadium.
Yeah,
but
true.
Travis says the Eagles offensive line is just mauling people. Brett Eclipse says talking about the broadcast made Sirianni taking the holding call the big ref thing instead of the 2 horrible defensive pass interference calls. There were actually 3 terrible defensive pass interference calls. Yeah. Although, to be fair, they're rules analysts, which I always think it's funny. The rules analyst will do like anything possible to avoid saying the refs were wrong. And all three times he was like, yeah, I wouldn't have called that. That was pretty weak. And then Williams says that he was watching the game with his Giants buddy, who also has Barkley on his fantasy team versus me this week. His range of emotion was Oscar worthy.
I bet. It's probably tear jerker and jubilation all in one.
Yeah. David, question for you. When Reed Blankenship comes out early in the game, I fully expected Sidney Brown to be the guy that was inserted, and it was Tristan McCollum. That kind of surprised me. What are your thoughts on Tristan McCollum apparently being the safety 3 right now?
Yeah, that shocked me too. And in fact, I pulled up my computer immediately and started putting notes to make sure I added that in my story for tomorrow. That really caught me off guard. I didn't see that coming, so I really don't have any insight into that. I don't know why that happened at all. In fact, I would have even thought Avonte Maddox may have came in before him if I was looking at the pecking order prior to that play. Right. So I was very shocked. No Sidney Brown, no Avonte Maddox there. I mean, Maddox did come in for some plays, but not there. But yeah, I have no insight into that. I definitely did not see that one coming.
Okay, I thought maybe you would have heard something through the grapevine there, because that definitely shocked me. And
me too.
As the VP of the Sidney Brown fan club, I was a little disappointed, but I was also standing on a table for Tristan McCollum to make this roster. So, good for him, I guess. The other defender I want to really shout out, well, 2 of them. Brandon Graham obviously had a phenomenal game. And we mentioned the apparent elbow injury earlier, and we'll wait to see on that. But also, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a guy that started the year terribly. And he has really bounced back over the last couple of games, I thought, and played well. He had a really nice 3rd down stop, and I know the Rams ended up converting on 4th down. But I thought Chauncey Gardner-Johnson turned in probably his 3rd straight quality game after a rough start to the year. So that's nice to see him hitting his stride. And kind of crazy, the Rams end the game 0 of 8 on 3rd downs, but they were 3 of 3 on 4th downs. That's just
not
kind of a funny stat.
Interrupt you, but somebody just messaged me and said Graham's done for the year. He tore his tricep.
I was afraid of something like that.
And it's a pretty reputable guy. I ain't gonna say who it is, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Yeah, that's terrible news.
Yeah. I was afraid we were gonna get season-ending news like that, and I really hope that turns out to not be accurate. But that was my fear, and if that is the case, you have to wonder at this point if we've seen the last snaps of Brandon Graham's career. I don't know. Nope. But really stinks as well as he was playing, and the trajectory of this team. And just this season, looking at too, Bryce Huff's on IR right now. And so you're stacking injuries at a really important position. So I'm not sure what the Eagles' move will be there, but hopefully, we got comments coming in now that Jimmy Kimsky just reported it. It said Graham said it himself. Maybe that's so. Yeah, unfortunate news from Brandon Graham breaking on the post-game show, and it does kind of suck the sails out of what was a really good defensive performance. Suck the wind out of the sails of what was a really good defensive performance.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think he was kind of one of the catalysts to why this defensive front has been playing so much better over these last couple of games, and you hope that. He's definitely a type of guy that's not going to go anywhere. He's still going to be right there. He's still going to be, loud and in the face of everybody. So hopefully, that aspect of Brandon Graham can kind of live on, and somebody, whether it be, Milton Williams or Jomo or, whomever, or Jalex Hunt, a little bit more down the line. Hopefully, they'll step up. Because we need it. We absolutely need it.
Yeah. Man, that sucks.
Deflated the whole enjoyment of this post-game show. But
yeah. Well, let's flip over to the offensive side of the ball then.
Good stuff.
Does anybody else have anything they want to mention on the defense before we flip over to the offense?
I don't know. Just I'm glad to see Milton Williams play so well. It kind of has me a little bit more scared that he, might be going elsewhere in free agency. But, I don't know. I thought he had a good game. I thought Jomo had a pretty good game. So it was encouraging stuff from the line for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's flip it over to the defensive, or we normally start on the offensive side. Let's flip it over to the offensive side. And let's talk about this offense that, again, punts the ball one time, has the weird turnover on downs thing at the end of the half that you almost just throw out, and otherwise scores on every single possession, puts up 37 points while down their number 1 or their number 2 wide receiver. I mean, the story of the game is Saquon Barkley. We already touched on him a little bit, but 302 yards from scrimmage, 255 on the ground, and 2 touchdowns. He also has 47 through the air. I loved the one catch where he's just like on his knee at the sideline when Jalen Hurts rolled out. But Ryan, so glad this guy's an Eagle. Talk to me about Saquon Barkley and your thoughts on this game.
I mean, I don't think we realized how great a running back could be. Because, and that's just no disrespect to any Eagle running back that we've had in our career, and with Shady or Westbrook, or again, if you want to keep going even further back. But Saquon Barkley is 100% just an absolute different animal. He is finally, you can see the joy is back with Saquon Barkley. He's running behind an offensive line that is one of the best in the league. He is not playing 8 or 9 games on that awful turf. And he's playing for a fan base that absolutely appreciates him and adores him. So he is absolutely in the mind of you feel good, you play good. And he is absolutely a absolute monster. And I mean, just when you think, that first quarter, running game wasn't really working and whatnot. And I was watching with, I was like, have some patience. Have some patience. This will work itself out, because it does. The style that Barkley runs with, he just beats you down. He's still going to get his 4 or 5 yards, and he's still going to beat you down. And by the time the third and the fourth quarter comes, you are so damn exhausted. You are just putting your arm out, and you're trying to make arm tackles rather than wrapping up. And Saquon will absolutely run through that. And he showed it. He had multiple really nice runs, especially that one at the end, 72 yards, was it, I believe? It's a joy to watch. It really is. He's just, God, the New York Giants are such a crap franchise. I love it.
Yeah, he generated 150 rushing yards over expectation in this game. He now has 4 of the top 11 fastest ball carrier speeds on the season. Just incredible by Saquon Barkley. David, your thoughts on this rushing attack, and how sustainable is this down the stretch?
I think it's very sustainable, assuming that the offensive line stays healthy. I mean, he's not even getting touched until 3 yards down. I think the broadcast said he averaged 1.5 yards before he got touched while he was in New York, and It's 3 yards now. I mean, it's just insane. I mean, Ryan touched on it a little bit as well. I don't think anybody really appreciated how great that offensive line was until you see somebody of Saquon's caliber back there. I mean, it is just unbelievable. Tonight, he got 255 yards rushing, which is the most in his career in a single game. He beat his all-time rushing yards in a season record for number 3. He only needs one more 100-yard rushing game to tie Wilbert Montgomery for the most 100-yard rushing games in a season by the Eagles in franchise history. And he only needs 215 more yards to break Shady's single-season record for most rushing yards in a year. I mean, he's played 11 games as a Philadelphia Eagle, and I do not think it's hyperbole to state he might be the best acquisition in Eagles history.
Yeah, absolutely. Although A.J. Brown is right up there too. Thanks, Titans.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Titans. Thanks, Giants, all on the same team.
Bad GMs, both franchises, and you can see the suffering that's been had by both since.
How he takes advantage.
We do have a great comment here on YouTube. The last time we had a major injury in LA, we won the Super Bowl. So maybe we're getting the 2017 magic back. Maybe that's just how it works out. But I just saw a stat from NFL Pro that says that since week 6, the Eagles have a plus 1,069 total yard margin over their opponents. They are the only team over plus 500 in that span.
And they're almost at 1,100.
Yeah, and they've over doubled the next closest team. So the offense is performing at a really high level. And if I'm honest, I kind of hate the passing game right now. Like the drop back passing game is not very good. So much of it is Jalen Hurts scrambling to buy time to find somebody, or Jalen Hurts rolling out and running. And like, you just
AJ Brown beating double teams.
Yeah, like you just put up 37 points without Devontae Smith on the field in a game in which I thought the pass game design was pretty poor.
Agreed.
And you just blasted the Rams anyways. And so I still think there's room to grow, and I think there's certainly reasons to be frustrated with what we've seen from the passing game. And yet, like Anthony said at the beginning, it's a great win. And what a team. And yet I feel like there's still meat on the bone for this offense to continue to get better. Ryan, what was your thought on the passing game in this game? And I guess we can get into Jalen Hurts here too.
Yeah, listen, I it's funny you started saying that, and I knew exactly what you were talking about. It just, you're right. There's something about it that just, it like works, but like I don't know. It never seems like an easy thing. And I know, Brown, he was 6 for 109. But outside of that, and outside of the dump passes to Barkley, I mean, what did anybody really do? I mean, you had Goddard 4 for 19. I think Dotson had his obligatory one catch, as he does.
On a bubble screen.
Right, on a bubble screen. And nobody did anything else. So it definitely is, in a one way, it's good that there is some room for growth and room to fix things. And it's not something that's on, that can't be fixed. It just seems very inconsistent. And yeah, I don't know. There's something about it. You just, the eye test doesn't really flow. And, I think people kind of get lost in it when they see AJ Brown, make a great play or whatnot, or, when Devontae's in there, or when Goddard's actually being utilized. And those big plays kind of mask the true problems of this offense, of the consistent moving the ball down the field. And thank God for our run game and one Saquon Barkley. But yeah, listen, I'm with you. There's something off, and they need to do a better job being consistent and move the ball.
When I was even really surprised that there weren't really explosive passing plays in this game, because the Rams were top 5 in the league and giving up the most explosive passing plays. And I know there was the 28-yarder to AJ Brown that was just a curl route, and he broke some tackles. And there was the 31-yarder to Saquon that was the screen, but there was really nothing downfield. And I did expect them to be able. I thought Hurts might have a big passing day in this one, because the Rams secondary is not really good, and it just went the total opposite direction. But David, what are your thoughts on the pass game overall and on Jalen Hurts' performance in this one?
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And we touched on it a little bit during the halftime show in regards to the play designs. I think that's the biggest issue with it, if I'm being honest. I don't like the play designs either. I thought they were setting some things up early in the game to take some deep shots. They never did. Granted, that could be because you don't have to when your running back gets a 70 and a 72-yard touchdown run. So maybe they just kept it in their back pocket and never did it. He had 15 completions, but what I didn't like the most was those design runs. Like we had said at halftime, also with the empty backfield, that's just too empty. I mean, easy to diagnose for opposing defenses. I mean, you know what is coming, and we know as watching it, and they know on the field, and I just don't like that. But the biggest plus is he has no turnovers. He does not put the ball in harm's way, and that's the recipe to win. You run, you throw the ball safely, you protect the ball, and you let the defense cook, and that's been the recipe to victory for 7 straight weeks. And I don't see how that can be beaten, because that doesn't slump. Running games doesn't slump. You don't have to worry about the running game on the road. You don't have to worry about the running game because it's raining. you don't have to worry about those things. I mean, they have built a team that is designed to win this way, and it's going to be very hard to stop them.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts had 11 turnover-worthy plays in the first 4 weeks of the season. He's had 3 in the last 7 games, 3 turnover-worthy plays in the last 7 games. And so, and they talked about that on the broadcast. They gave different numbers. I'm not sure where they pulled theirs from. They said he only had 1 in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
PFF has him with 2 against the Cowboys. And to be honest, I thought turnover-worthy plays was a PFF stat. Like, I don't know who else is charting turnover-worthy plays. They either misspoke or there's somewhere else that charts it out as well. Regardless, that's not really important. It's just quibbling over the statistics. Don't want people to be confused hearing us say a different number than they heard on the broadcast. But They did talk about how the run game is so good. You've got the receiving threat in A.J. Brown, and Jalen Hurts is just not putting the ball in harm's way, and that's what you need him to do. Like, he doesn't have to do a lot. The defense is playing at an elite level. The run game's operating at an elite level. Don't turn it over and take really bad sacks. In this game, he takes 1 sack, no turnover-worthy plays. And, I mean, we're talking about the passing game, and we've got some complaints in the chat about complaining about the passing game. And just to be clear, like, the Eagles played great tonight, and I think we're all saying that. Just that the pass game is still lacking in some ways. But even at that, Hurts is 15 to 22 for 179 yards and a touchdown. He's over 0.3 EPA per drop back. And so, it's working. I just think that's the thing that has the most potential for growth still over the back stretch of the season. Like, if they could recapture the Jalen Hurts passing from the Super Bowl and from some of those really good games and like plug that into this offense. I mean, it really is the whole tweet that everybody puts out of like, who's stopping this offense? Cause I don't know how you do it.
Yeah. I think you described it best. A lot of meat on the bone. Nobody's criticizing it. It's just, it can be a lot better. I mean, it's just like you said, that's the best way to say it. It's still a lot of meat on the bone.
Yeah. All right, let's keep rolling here. Let's get into our player of the games.
Blinds.com is kicking off the savings early with Black Friday mega deals all month long. A Blinds.com design expert can help you make the perfect selection on your schedule. We can even handle everything from measure to your whole home install for just one low cost. With over 25 million windows covered, Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Get up to 45% off site-wide and a free professional measure right now at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Looking for a pickup truck to get just about anything done? Look no further. The Chevy Silverado EV isn't just the most powerful Silverado ever, with next-level towing capability and technology. It also offers game-changing versatility with the available multi-flex midgate and tailgate, which means Silverado EV helps you carry large, bulky, and oddly shaped items up to nearly 11 feet in length. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Visit Chevrolet.com to learn more.
This year, Santa's bringing the power of Energizer into his workshop.
Whoa, the Energizer Bunny's got so much power.
Wait, he's powered up all the toys. I think that means we're done for the year.
I love this bunny.
He's the hardest working helper the North Pole has ever seen. And he wants all your gifts to have the power of the #1 longest lasting AA battery. So this holiday season, stock up on Santa's and the elves' favorite battery, Energizer Ultimate Lithium.
With Uber Reserve, good things come to those who plan ahead. Family vacay? Reserve your ride as soon as you book your flights. To all the planners, now you can reserve your Uber ride up to 90 days in advance. See Uber app for details.
So we're all going to award a player of the game. No repeats. So just gives us a way to talk about a few different players. But Ryan, I'll give it to you first. So Ryan, tell me who your player of the game is.
Oh man. This is a tough one. Who to pick? Yeah, obviously it's Saquon. The man breaks the record for the Eagles' most rushing yards in a game. Has 2 amazingly nice long runs. David, you said both of them were over 70, right?
Yeah, he had a 70 and a 72.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I mean, he obviously the first play from the second half, before I even knew the second half had started, where he was running in for a touchdown. Yeah,
I made David miss that play.
Yeah, I didn't even see it.
So a peek behind the curtain. Dives hosts halftime show. It's always like 10 minutes because that's how long we have. But he wasn't going to be here, so I'm hosting it, and my camera wouldn't work. So I had to restart my computer. Ooh. And so I was like, we'll do an 8-minute halftime show. And I apparently undershot how much time we had. And so as I was like wrapping it up, I see Saquon break it open. And so I just called the Saquon run before we signed off the halftime show. So I saw it. I gave the play-by-play, but David never even got to see it. So again, my apologies, David. But Ryan, go on.
All good. Yeah, listen, Saquon is amazing. And you're right, David. I think when it comes to time and when it's all said and done, Saquon is most likely going to go down as the greatest acquisition in Eagles history. It sure seems like this. What a great, there was a lot of stats of like the first team running back. And, you talk about when Marshall Faulk switched teams and, when Eric Dickerson switched teams, and it's not only is it on pace with those two, which are Hall of Fame, great running backs, but I think we're seeing the potential of eclipsing that first year with a new team for running back. And I think Saquon is eclipsing that right now.
Yeah, there's about to be a whole bunch of GMs trying to pay running backs in free agency this year.
Who knows? Maybe.
All right, David, who's your player of the game?
It was obviously Saquon, but I'm going to go somebody who's unheralded and has had a really rough go lately. He missed 2 field goals and an extra point versus the Commanders a week ago. And this week he nails all 3 field goals. He hit 3 extra points. He hit a 61-yarder in warm-ups prior to the game. Jake Elliott, because if they're going to go far on this run towards the Super Bowl, they are going to need him. Every game's not going to keep being like this. At some point, they're going to need him, and it was very reassuring to see him nail down 6. I mean, look what happened to the Commanders today. They go tie the game after a remarkable comeback and miss the extra point to end the game and lose to the Cowboys. I mean, it's unbelievable. So Jake is a big reason they won in 2017 too. I mean, he was remarkable. So they're going to need him. So I know he wasn't the standout guy today, but I'll give him a shout out.
Yeah. Shout out also to the Eagles for getting down to goal-to-go situations and then just not scoring touchdowns so they could get Jake Elliott in a rhythm early. You always hear about getting your quarterback in a rhythm with some easy throws. Shout out to the Eagles for playing chess here and getting Elliott in a rhythm with some easy kicks to start the game.
Man. That's messed up.
I like it.
Williams chiming in here says that Barkley's having more of an impact than when Christian McCaffrey switched to the 49ers mid-season. And Brett Eclipse says he can't wait for GMs to overinvest on above-average running backs without good offensive lines to sustain them. So you guys keep the comments rolling here. I'm not nearly as good at keeping an eye on him as Dives is, and he'll be back next week. I know I said that last week, but for real this time. He'll be back next week, and we'll get more of your comments up here. But keep those rolling in. I'm going to give my player of the game to Brandon Graham.
Nice.
I was going to go with whichever one you didn't take between Brandon Graham and Milton Williams, and you didn't take either one. But you could take either one. But Graham's the Eagles legend. And again, unfortunately, the injury in his season's done now. But, man, what a game he played in the last game this season. He was dominant. He was wrecking their run scheme. He got a sack of Stafford. So Brandon Graham was everywhere. I'll give him the shout out for player of the game.
Didn't you just buy his jersey, Shane?
I did. It's not here yet.
Oh my God. Never buy another jersey.
I'll be wearing it. I'll be wearing it when it gets here in like 3 weeks. Yeah. Hey, I do. No, I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to tell you that. Never mind. Forget about it.
Did you buy another jersey?
No, I was going to say the last jersey I bought was fine, but it was Kelsey's jersey last year and he retired. But we all knew that was going to happen. I didn't make Kelsey retire buying his jersey.
No, you're
but
purposely buying legends. I respect it.
I bought the Wentz jersey the Super Bowl year, and we all know how that turned out. So you're right. Maybe I should not buy jerseys anymore, ever.
Yeah, we bought it a week before we went to LA.
Yeah,
no, I actually bought it after the injury, I think.
Oh, really? I was going to say.
Yeah,
that's even harsher.
Listen, that's fine. You know, you buy a jersey of a player that goes out for the year in the year that we won the Super Bowl. We'll just win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. See, it tracks. Guy gets injured in LA. I buy the jersey. I technically bought the BG jersey before, but it's not here yet, so it kind of counts. I wear it for the first time. Eagles going to the Super Bowl confirmed. Williams says, I'm the Grim Reaper. No more jersey purchases. I'm done. No more. I promise.
Yeah, Brandon Graham's one of the few jerseys I actually have signed.
I probably shouldn't tell people that I did get my son a Jalen Hurts jersey for Christmas. So, but that one's not for me, so that's okay. It won't fall under the curse, right?
Absolutely.
Well, let's hope he doesn't listen to the show.
Yeah, he does not listen to. He doesn't listen to the podcast. He watches the games, and sometimes he watches my all 22 videos, but he doesn't listen to all the podcasts. William says I need to buy the jersey of the best player on the opposing team. All right, I'm getting a Lamar jersey this week.
Now, can we just go ahead and buy a golf jersey?
Yeah, no, he's not the best player. He's not like the fifth best player.
All right, yeah, that would be the most impactful.
That's true. Ryan says, hit the like button, you bums. Smash that like button.
Yeah. Can I just real quick address, there was a comment about Kenny Gainwell and myself. I don't know where it is, but I will seriously, right here. I will never, ever say a nice thing about Kenny Gainwell. I don't care. My mind's made up. It's not happening. You can say it every week when oh my God, he ran 8 yards. Oh boy, he scored a touchdown. I don't care. It's never going to happen.
How about a game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl? Maybe just that. Maybe just that.
I'm not gonna lie. That Gainwell touchdown run was nice.
It was
pretty good, but I'm sorry. I just can't do it. Sorry.
All right. Well, let's dive into our 3-word reactions. Every week we put out a 3-word reaction on the Eagles Pin Pull Twitter account at Eagles Pin Pull. Tell you guys to go leave your reactions and we'll read some of our favorites on the show. So we've got some good ones coming in this week. Johnny says Eagles winning Super Bowl, which I mean, yeah, we pretty much confirmed that at this point. At Catacove says Mara Night Terrors.
I love it.
JC gave us an anxiety-free victory. Those are always nice. I feel like we hadn't had any of those for like literally a calendar year, and now we're just ripping those off week after week. It's kind of nice. We've got Ryan with a most valuable player. We got Winston with a dat boy nice. Max says Mara losing sleep.
Sure is.
JB said the refs tried with a laughing emoji. We got a 255 from Max. A Super Bowl for Graham from Down. Max gave us an old man strength with a gif of BG. And then we got a thank you Giants from Paul. And so those were our 3-word reactions from Twitter. You guys can drop some here in the chat as well. But Ryan, where are you going with your 3-word reaction?
Man, I'm wondering how PC I can be here.
I hate Gainwell.
No, I feel like that's just reaching. That's reaching for no reason. I was going to say Saquon, he's nuts.
Yeah, I like how the announcers were just like, I think he'll be okay. My son was real worried. I was like, he's fine. He'll be back. So, David, what's your 3-word reaction?
I'm heartbroken for Brandon Graham because I really wanted him to go out with the Super Bowl, and I think this team is capable of doing that. But his injury is a stark reminder of how quick everything can unravel. So my 3 words that I thought as soon as that came across was just stay healthy, because this team is very good, but these are the kind of reminders that everything can come off the rails very quickly, man, if the certain people go down. So it's going to be hard because they really do not have a lot of backup edge rushers. Huff is gone for a month, right? They officially IR'd him.
Yeah.
I mean, they are very thin. So I just stay healthy. That's my 3 words.
Yeah, that's a good one. Also, I love that like everybody else gets 3 words and we like get to preface our 3 words and then explain them afterwards too. Is great. But
yeah, I know, right?
But you get a mic, you get the mic, you get to break the rules a little bit. That's what Dibes taught me about podcasting. So my 3 word is Baltimore be afraid. I am very much looking forward to that game next week. So
game. Such a fun game.
It's going to be very fun.
I'd like to add one and say, thanks a lot, Q.
What?
Yeah, I'm reading his.
Gainwell over Ryan for his 3 words. I like it.
Not cool, dude. I thought we were cool.
A few more 3 words here. We've got Brett Eclipse with a thank you, BG. We've got Alex with a stay bold, Sirianni.
Absolutely.
Brett Eclipse says out of defensive ends. Q says Graham don't retire, and then he's got a Gainwell over Ryan, and then we've got a more Jalix Hunt. So
we're gonna have to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And he has started to phase in a little bit more. So more Nolan Smith, more Jalix Hunt, maybe some Milton Williams popping out to edge. We'll see how the Eagles choose to handle that. But I think that's going to about wrap it up here. Does anybody have anything else they wanted to mention on the game before we get out of here?
No, just a great game that unfortunately ended with that post-game news with Graham, but just a dominant win, man. Just put the entire league on notice. And it really does set up that Ravens-Eagles matchup. That's going to be a game that really is going to be a barometer for both franchises.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is funny. The Ravens play in LA tomorrow night, so both teams are going to be traveling from LA. They should just play the game in LA. Just stay out there for the week. You're already both there.
All your fans are.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that we don't have to hop on a plane anymore. We play Washington, we play Baltimore, and that's it, right? Those are our 2 remaining away games.
It's at Baltimore versus Carolina versus Pittsburgh, at Washington versus Dallas versus New York. So the only 2 away games are Baltimore and Washington.
Okay, there you go.
Just a flight to New Orleans is the only other one they're going to need to do all year, man.
Absolutely.
I see what you did there.
All right, go fund me so we can all go to New Orleans.
All right. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us on the post-game show at 12:30 in the morning. The Eagles improved to 9-2, ripping off their 7th straight win, setting up a huge game next weekend at Baltimore. It's going to be a lot of fun. We will be here to take you through the whole week. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us on the podcast and on the video casts and downloading and all of those things, all of the comments. I hope you guys all have great Thanksgivings. Hopefully there's lots of Eagles pin pull content loaded up on your phone for the car drives, wherever you're going. You guys drive safe, and we'll see y'all next week to celebrate another Eagles victory. Go Birds.